What's that? Put it on the wall.
Presentation room. They have a takeover in this area. It's where we have one of our riots. And Danny Lehman, who I told you did the painting on the way through there, him and his motorcycle gangs. There were different gangs in here. They considered themselves motorcycle gangs. They had their motorcycles, but they considered themselves gangs. They would come in here and they would form different gangs. And Danny Lehman had a group, and he called his group the Avengers. Well, they decided that they were going to take over the cafeteria at the time. They wanted some new things done to the prison. They wanted some different things along the way. They have a list of demands, about 8 pages, big and pad size full of things they wanted. Well, when Danny Lehman and his guys took over the prison, they took the 16 guards hostage and 1 service guard. Would come in here to eat. They'd come through the same door that you and I just came through. There'd be a guard standing there, and he'd hand them a fork and a spoon. A real fork and a real spoon. When they would come in, they would send them on either side. It's cafeteria style. They'd go on either side. They'd order what they want. They'd come out and sit. Public candidates in here. When they did away with the electric chair for the guards' protection. As you can see, like with this one, you can see how wide apart the bars are right here. You can put your hand, some inmates, small enough inmates, could get their hands through there, they'd grab at the guards. In the very beginning, these were all key locked. So they had to put them in one at a time, key lock them in. If this was always there, these inmates could grab and yank at them. They could also spit on them, which they did, urinate on them, throw feces at them, vomit on them. They put this grate on the outside to protect the guards themselves.
Are people allowed to go there?
Where we are now, this part would have been the part where I told you they had the cells, that when they would have brought them in, this would have been South Yard, South Hall, as they would have called it at the time. There would have been cells through here. As you can see, this would have been as far back as the cafeteria that we started out in would have come. As you can see now, they've closed it off. They've done different rooms in it. DOC, as I said, DOC owns it, and they do a lot of different trainings and have different classrooms in here. First week of May, we have what's called a mock riot in here. It brings law enforcement from all 50 states and 9 foreign countries. It's not open to the public. They come in here and take over the whole prison, set up different scenarios throughout it, and do just as they would in their own prisons and their own jails. They bring kids off the street, boys. Amazing how many boys have come in here to be inmates, to be our inmates. Sometimes. The area where we are, these guys in these cells over here, as I said, they were allowed out most of the day. They got out in the morning about 6 o'clock for breakfast and that kind of stuff, and then they didn't have to go back in until 10 o'clock at night unless there was any kind of lockdown for them. Maybe all of you that I was in charge of for the day. Now, trying to keep track of you would have been fun because you had this whole yard to entertain yourself with. If you wanted to go back into your cell, you were allowed to. So if you were going back into your cell, you'd have to tell me you were going back into your cell. We'd have to radio to the guy that was standing in there. He'd have to make sure you got to where you were going to go. So it wasn't just an easy process that you got let out and in. It's a hard job for these guards that were here when they were working. The same size as the other cells, 5 by 7, but these look much bigger. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way they're set up. The prison itself, both sides would hold 975 inmates, this side and that side. In the 30s through the 60s, the prisons were overcrowded. There were 2,211 inmates in this side of the prison. There was 3 to a cell. That's how crowded it would have. Well, this would have been one bunk. There would have been another bunk above it, and if you were the third guy, you were given a mat and had to lay down on the floor. Now, also, this is the one we use as our example. If you look in, you'll see there's chests in there. The chests were given to each one of the inmates, so if there was 3 of them in there, there would have been 3 chests in there. That was for your personal stuff, your hygiene, your clothes, anything personal you can keep in that chest. So if there was 3, there would have been 3 of them. Behind that chest and that TV is the toilet. You can hardly see it, but that's where the toilet is. And then there was a sink. Back then, into the late 70s, the state didn't require inmates to shower. It wasn't required. So you could be in here on a really hot day, and it had a horrible smell. You can imagine the BO, just the regular sewer system smells. You didn't get to choose who your roommate was.
Rise in.
Go for it.
Everybody in that wants to be?
Yes.
Doors closing.
Yeah, when they put you in, they would tell you to get in, sir, you need to step back from the door down there. Thank you. When they would tell you to get in, they'd ask you to get in, except you need to step to the farthest back of the cell. I'm going to ring a bell. And then they would
Oh my gosh, I couldn't see.
Wow.
What is it? They're forever.
Shut the power, right?
Nighttime.
All right, now I'm going to let you out. The same process would happen. I'd ring the bell. I need you to step to the back of the cell. All right, where we are, as I said, this was a law library to begin with. Now it's turned into a small museum. Over in this corner is the exact electric chair, the one that we used here in the prison. It was made by an inmate.